But let's just start off. Where's the debt limit talks going right now?
Well, after Cantor quit attending, Majority Leader Cantor, after he quit attending, I think he was able to convince the folks on the other side that raising taxes is not going to go anywhere in the House. So I haven't really heard much since then. It's good to see the president finally get engaged on this issue. I don't think it was wise to just let a little subgroup work on it for weeks when he should have been engaged on it as well. But in any event, I just saw the proposal of the idea floated by President Clinton, I don't think folks understand that we're not going to vote for tax increases because the problem is not taxes, it's discipline, it's spending discipline, and you're not going to get any more discipline by giving the offender more money.
Well, here's what I thought was interesting, because I talked about this in the last half hour about former President Clinton. What I'd like to see them do is agree on the outlines of a 10-year plan and agree not to start either the revenue hikes or the spending cuts until we've got this recovery underway. How does he expect to get the recovery underway without cuts?
Yep. Well, here's the deal. The debt and the problem created by the debt is directly related to confidence in the markets, confidence in the economy by job creators. And if we don't deal with it, we're not going to have the recovery that you're talking about. And ultimately, the debt's a jobs issue.
Absolutely. Uncertainty for business people is the worst thing you can give them. And what is this other than more uncertainty?
Well, that's exactly right. And also, Dave, why would folks who want to create jobs, who want to take risk, who want to start new businesses, why would they take a risk, extra risk, by investing in the middle of this economy when our debt is over $14 trillion and we're not doing anything to demonstrate that we take it seriously? And I think the best thing we can do for job creation is to send a signal that we're serious about getting our fiscal house in order. Because that's where people want to put their money, in a country that manages its finances well.
Yeah, I just saw a story just breaking that Obama and the Senate Democrats are weighing a scaled-back U.S. budget deal. The deal would cover the country's borrowing needs for 7 months, the aide said. Hey, haven't we done this before? Wasn't this what we went through earlier this year and last?
Well, let me tell you, what we're going to see is what we have seen for years, particularly as it relates to entitlements, and that is we're going to see people want to play kick the can. They want to kick the can down the road. And with all due respect to President Clinton, he actually did a good thing by raising the issue in 1998 of Medicare and the problems that we were going to have with it long term. He appointed a Medicare commission. And he said, hey, guys, y'all come up with some ideas so we can save Medicare. Well, you know what? The ideas that they came up with, that Democrat Senator John Breaux and Democrat Senator Bob Kerrey and some others, the ideas that they came up with to save Medicare are the foundation of what we adopted in the House. Wasn't about your plan. It's not about your plan. It is not privatization. It is a lot like what Congress, members of Congress, and federal employees have. That started with the Clinton Medicare Commission in 1998 Now, nothing was ever done with it because the politicians just kept saying, hey, that's difficult. We're going to kick that down the road. Well, we're out of road, Dave.
Yeah, I understand that. I think a lot of people understand it. Final question for you. Why would any right-thinking American believe that, and this is nothing against you, you have to understand, but because of the history of the Congress, why would we believe that even if you came up with a 10-year budget that you're going to do it?
Exactly. Well, you shouldn't believe that. You shouldn't. You know why you shouldn't? Because all you got to do is look at the track record of the federal government in terms of managing its finances. Mm-hmm. And here's the deal. When you adopt something way down the road, well, that doesn't bind the next Congress. The next Congress can come in and do whatever they want.
Absolutely.
And so you got, that's why I've said I'm not voting for anything that doesn't make significant structural changes now. Sure, we want to do some long-term and mid-term stuff as well, but we've got to have stuff now, changes now. And, you know, I'm sure you've been hearing all the attack ads that have been run against me, and I've heard, you know, our senior senator from Arkansas and others talk about how they don't like the plan that the House passed.
Right.
Well, that's interesting because that's the only plan. There's not another plan. What they're comparing our reform plan our reform plan to is the status quo, the way things are right now. Well, that's fantasy because the way things are now, Medicare goes bankrupt in 10 years. So there's the House plan and there's the status quo, the way things are. And all I can conclude is, therefore, the way things are. Well, that's bankruptcy for Medicare. That's 17% cuts in Medicare, according to the Medicare trustees. That's 24% tax increases. That's the option that our senior senator and others apparently opt for, because I haven't seen their plan. And if they have a plan that they're working on in a back room that they're keeping secret, well, I'd sure like to see it. Yeah. But there's not one. Well, and we'd love to debate this, but right now there's one plan, and we got to get some other folks serious about this, or we're going to be in for a big mess.
All right, last question for you, Congressman, because I know you got some things you got to get to, and that is today the president said that he will not meet with the head of the Senate or with the head of the Republicans in the Senate, Mitch McConnell. How can you say you're serious about dealing with the issues when you won't even talk to the people on the other side of the aisle?
Well, let me say this. I will talk with just about anybody at any time, and I'll tell you this. They're not serious. You want to know where the president's heart was on spending? Look at his budget that he proposed in February. Doubles the debt in 5 years and triples it in 10. It got 0 votes in the Senate. Where's the Senate? Where's their budget?
Right.
They haven't passed the budget. The U.S. Senate has not passed the budget.
And that's being held up by the Democrats who hold the majority.
Well, it's their choice. And look, if they don't want to pass a budget, that's fine. But don't come to the party and criticize everybody else's attempts to try to fix our problem when there's no budget. You don't have a budget. We got a $14 trillion debt, and you won't pass a budget. You don't have a plan. So I'm saying to the Senate and to the president, we would love to engage in a debate and a conversation about how we fix this. We've put ours out there. If you don't like it, put your own plan out there. We would love to see it. But don't demagogue the issue as if the current state of affairs is what you prefer, because we all know that that's disingenuous. The current state of affairs leads us to bankruptcy, and that's not an option.
Well, but you know, Congressman, the problem is the president knows that his party is for kids and the Republicans, your party is for corporate jets, right?
Well, let me just say this on that front. I got a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. I love them as much as anybody else loves their kids. My mother's on Medicare. This is not just a numbers thing for me. This is a personal deal. And all this demagoguery that you're referring to,
yep,
it's really a bunch of nonsense.
Of
and
course
if that's all they got, they're not going to be part of the solution. They're not going to fix the problem. If demagoguery is their answer to one of the greatest challenges ever facing this country, then I'm not waiting on them to fix this problem.
All right.
And that's a sad comment on the state of affairs. But hey, thank you for letting me have a few minutes today. I appreciate it.
Well, come on back to Arkansas and sit down in the studio and talk to me.
Hey, I'm here right now, and I'll maybe I can get on next week. Thank you, man.
All right, we'll talk to you later. Okay.
Appreciate it. Congressman
Griffin here on the Dave Ellswick Show, of course. He's back for the 4th of July recess, I guess, is what he's back for. And perhaps he'll get on with Curtis Coleman or with Glenn Gallis and sit and talk, because those folks will be filling in for me all next week, because I am out next week and a couple of days the week after for the Patriot Tour that we do here at KARN, and then I go on with our listeners. And then when we get back on the 13th, Scott and I and Angie Davis, our photographer, will fly to Vegas, and